The ABB FIA Formula E World Championship moves away from Berlin and back to mainland China. It's the third different race we've raced here in China. The Shanghai International Circuit joins Sanya and Beijing, but this is when the championship began. And yesterday we saw a very thrilling EPrix as well. We're expecting more of the same today with pack racing, but the track offers itself up for a little bit more of a calm, open race. Welcome to round 12 of the season here in Shanghai. And we can't wait to get started as well when the green light goes on. It's going to be a 28-lap race, so one less than yesterday. Should still see the same amount of carnage and drama. Alongside me in the commentary box is Joe Samaniego as well. We're going to have Ed Hunter with us shortly as well. But nice to see you, Joe. Nice to have you up here in the comms box for Formula E in Shanghai. It's a nice time for you over there as well. But two questions. One, what are you thinking ahead of this race? And two, Indianapolis looks like we're going to have another washout, so that's going to be a fun delay for all of us today.
Oh, Indianapolis, that looks like it's going to be a heartbreak with potential rain, especially if everyone's following the Kyle Larson doing the double. Likely he's going to get called to go to Charlotte because if the weather's bad enough where the chopper can't go from the speedway to the airport. They're going to send him to Charlotte earlier, so be interested to see how that goes. I'm really curious to see how this race goes. I know on Grid Life pre-race Saturday, we recapped the first race. I was surprised how we did get more single file compared to Portland and some other tracks. But now that we got one lap less, I'm curious if the energy management is going to allow the drivers to race a little harder. So I'm really curious to see how this race is going to turn out. Are we going to see a little bit more of the same yesterday where it did get 3 or 4 wide occasionally, but we saw plenty of single file, especially on that long front stretch? Or is it going to be the pack like we all anticipated entering the weekend?
Coming into it as well, we've got Cassidy down in 5th place. He got through to the duels this time around. Dennis and Verline did not, so it's kind of the opposite of yesterday going into it. So who's your pick-a winner? Who did you choose on the Grid Network pick-a winner list?
For this one, I went with Pascal Wehrlein. But that was before qualifying started, but I'm just going to stick to it. It's like, well, crazier things happen in Formula E. If this turns out to be the pack race, it could all work out. So we'll see what happens, but it's really anybody's game, I think. I mean, look what Mahindra's doing. They got a good shot at this win, too.
Yeah, Mahindra really does have pace as well from De Vries. First time he got through to the duels. Since returning to Formula E. I've gone for Cassidy to win this one, just because I think he was owed it yesterday and didn't. Evans got yesterday, so then Cassidy will get today, sort of like a sharing of the points. Yeah, if it is still pack racing, then Verline down 13th isn't that bad. Bird's in 11th as well, so there's a nice change around the order. And I don't think qualifying really matters anymore in this current era of Formula E. You're going to be in Portland for the doubleheader in about a couple of weeks' time. So what are you expecting there? That's where all this pack racing began at that race. So what are you expecting when we head there?
I think you're going to see the same like last year. The big thing I'm really curious about is if a team is going to try to figure out some sort of strategy to break away from the pack. We've seen this before, but this is totally different circumstances where in Talladega NASCAR, 4 cars from Zero House Racing could break away from the pack. Nobody catched them. When it comes to energy management, I'm curious if, let's just say, for example, the Jaguar powertrain cars. So you got Envision, the Jaguar thing, they all, hey, let's put everything to qualifying, try to get a top 4, and then just Peloton each other on the straightaways, try to get away from the bigger pack. I'm really curious if that could work out. The hard part is you're going to have to use your energy faster, earlier to get away and then save a lot, which you could get caught up. Or we're going to see the exact same repeat as last year. At the end, last year, I was thinking, what we saw in Portland, okay, if Portland's the one race where it's going to be a pack racing, it'll stand out. But now it just seems almost every Formula E track, every race is just about pack racing. So I am curious if Formula E, the teams are going to start talking about, hey, could we change something? Because is this really racing that we want to see in Formula E? Visually, it looks great, but it's not exactly the same, and it's almost to the point where you have too much of it, it gets boring. It becomes a stale product.
Yeah, and that's what we've sort of been having, haven't we? We've had Pack Racing Plus the last 6 or 7 races now, so it's not really giving us that entertainment as well. Getting ready to gear up then. Me and Joe are going to get ready for the action. Let's pass it down for a quick highlight of the last 5 races on the world feed, and then we'll be ready to go.
Breaking news, Antonio Felix da Costa disqualified.
The rules are the rules. Oliver Rowland was crowned as the victor of round 6. We're here for our second race of the weekend. It's getting argy-bargy. Oh, disaster! Oliver Rowland has run out of energy. Berline wins in Mazzano. Time for the jewel in the crown. It's Monaco. Now it's Cassidy that's leading.
Okay, just tell me what to do.
Tell Mitch to go.
Nick is asking you to go.
Go, go, go.
Evans is going to take the lead of the race. Strategy masterclass from Jaguar. Mitch Evans takes victory. It's a Jaguar 1-2. We are here in Berlin, a double header. Günther's in the wall. This is fantastic driving from Nick Cassidy. And he wins the Berlin EPrix. Oh, yeah. The question is, can he do it against Nick? It's round 10. Evans is deep. Antonio Felix da Costa goes through. It's a DAC attack in Germany.
Well done.
And the Shanghai EPrix is underway. Mitch Evans takes his second victory of the season.
So we saw plenty of action in race 11 yesterday. Lots of action around those final few turns. So out there somewhere is Radzi and James. But hurry up, boys, because you've got 22 very quick cars coming for you any minute now.
Yes, well, we are now just a few minutes away from the race getting underway. 24 hours ago, we were talking about turn 1 and the importance of going from wide to very thin. However, things have changed now. James, you've spotted this particular part of the track. Why and where are we?
We saw a lot of controversy here. We're at turn 10, 11 and 12. Behind us, turn 10, this is where the circuit gets narrow. Then the guys have to come through here. We saw them side by side. We saw a very controversial moment yesterday between Nick Cassidy and Pascal Wehrlein.
Yes.
Side by side here on the final lap. Pascal and Nick, they didn't have enough room for the two of them right here at this apex of turn 11, and we saw them come to blows. Front wing of Nick Cassidy got knocked off, and he was very lucky to hold on to his podium position.
What we're currently seeing, actually, you really get a sense of just the impact of going off the track just slightly and the effect that would potentially have on the car.
Well, there's a rule today that, you need 2 wheels in contact with this curb at all times. That does mean you can put the car and the left-hand side wheels on the grass. We've seen them taking a huge amount of grass here, and we're really taking the shortest route possible through turn 11.
Could any cars go off track today versus yesterday, do you think?
Definitely. We also saw a moment where Pascal Wehrlein and Mitch Evans were fighting for the lead halfway through the race. Pascal went to the outside of Mitch, and he actually drove completely all 4 wheels across the grass to avoid having contact with Mitch Evans and kept in the lead. Bit of a controversial moment for me, but nevertheless, we could definitely see more of that happening today.
I have to say, it's real privilege standing on the track here. You do get a sense of the undulating nature of it. Actually, coming up this way, it is a little bit of an uphill, and this really is a challenging track, really lateral movements.
It's very tight and twisty down here at turn 10, 11 and 12.
It's massively exciting. We absolutely can't wait for this one. Yesterday, we had a big question mark about what was going to happen. We've got a little bit of a flavour, but possibly, Nikki, we now know even less.
Thanks very much, guys. Before we go racing, we've only got a few seconds left. Wild card. Who is your wild card, Billy Munger?
I'm looking at the Jag powertrains towards the back in the Envision cars. I'm going to go for Robin Frijns.
There we are. We've heard it. Robin Frijns indeed. OK, so the prep is done. The talking is over. The visors are down. And we've got 22 drivers ready to battle it out to the finish line here in Shanghai. Let's go racing.
Round 12 of the all-electric ABB FIA Formula E World Championship is about to kick off. We are all set to go for what is going to be an absolutely fantastic EPrix. The tension is rising, the atmosphere is rising as well. And who knows exactly what is going to happen in this 28-lap race where anything is possible. Looking at the starting grid then here as well, this is the, first of all, run down of the track. Turns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the same as the modern Formula 1 layout. From turn 9 onwards, we cut back into an alternative layout that is actually purpose-built into this track, making it the first ever permanent facility that we've visited that is permanent, because we're not using any runoff area as part of a new track. We're not using any service roads. This is a permanent layout on the Shanghai circuit as well. So this is a bit of a first for Formula E. This is your starting grid then from back to front. Sebastian Buemi's in 22nd position with Eduardo Mortar lining up in 21st. Robin Fry's in 20th with Lucas de Grassi starting in 19th as well, further back than what he was yesterday. Dan Ticktum starts 18th after complaining that the tyres were overheating in his first run. Nico Muller starts in 17th. 16th for Johanjo Ovala. Sergio Sete Kamara lines up in 15th position. Jay Dennis and Pascal Wehrlein, the two championship contenders, are 14th and 13th. Sasha Fenestraz in 12th. Sam Bird takes up in 11th. Maximilian Gunther takes 10th with Jean-Eric Vergne starting in 9th position as well. Ollie Rowland has 8th with Norman Nato in 7th. 6th on the grid goes to Mitch Evans with Nick Cassidy lining up in 5th. Nick De Vries takes in the top 4 as well from Antonio Felix da Costa in 3rd. Stoffel Van Dorn has 2nd and Jake Hughes lines up on pole position in the Neon McLaren as well. Jess in the chat room saying, good to have Joe in the box with you as well. Hello, it absolutely is. Josh T's down the pit lane as well for, I presume, the start of it. Ed Hunter is going to be joining us during the race. Hello, JT. And hello to Joe Samiego, goes up in the comment box for this one as well. And Joe, as we've been saying in the pre-show, it should be a great one, but it's weird seeing Shanghai as a Formula E layout, but the fans are still passionate as well. We're back in the birthplace of Formula E. We get some exciting racing anytime we come to the Chinese region.
Yeah, anytime it seems Formula E is here. I mean, the first race occurred for Formula E here in China. We all remember that epic finish, that last lap pass by Lucas de Grassi, taking advantage of the two lead cars crashing on the final corner. I think this is going to live up to another good race as they're all about to take their grid spots.
Moving forward, 4 rows in as well, burning up the rear tyres. They're not having to do it that much. Yesterday's race was actually quite a quick start. They didn't have that much smoke to clear. Today might be a different story, however, as they're really smoking up the Hankook tyres as they move forward in 2 positions. JT, how did Formula 3 go?
No red flags, so just break that curse, but a couple of safety cars.
Oh, well, Jess has still got it in there, I suppose.
And another pole.
Oh, okay.
And another pile up.
Oh, right. Well, this is no red flag, but Jess is certainly having one of it. She's got F2 coming up in 40 minutes' time as well. Let's see how we go then. Here we go then. Time to go shimmying in Shanghai. See if Tom Fox can do it. I can do it as well. I wonder what he's gone for today. Look to the lights then. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Lights out, we're racing in Shanghai. It's a good start from Jake Hughes. Stoffel Van Dorn's pulled away well in the first half of the start as well. Pulling around the outside because Antonio Felix da Costa. 3 wides, turn 1. Van Dorn using that inside line to perfection. And up into 3rd position as well. Da Costa holds off from, and De Vries has dropped down into 5th position. Nato's gone up side by side with him coming through. Verne is having a little battle as well, side by side with the 2 Jaguars already. Cassidy and Evans. And Evans has dropped back, so has Cassidy. Evans down into 8th position. Cassidy down to 6th as they come through. Verne might have him as they come up towards turn 6. Hughes is already looking to the inside line, trying to get ahead of Van Dorn into the braking zone. And he's back up round the outside as they all trail through. Good start so far, Joe. No one looking like they're going to make too bad of a position change, but now the lift and coast battle begins.
They're going to be lifting, they're going to be coasting. The first few, they're looking side by side until they get to a couple corners, but I think this is going to be a little bit of a repeat of yesterday. It'll just be interesting what happens in that mid-pack.
Yep, we've got already moving up here. That's Dan Tinktum to 15th. He started 17th after complaining. Verne's up to 8th past Bird, who's now up to 9th position. Into the 10-11 chicane. That cuts back to the right at 12th. A little bit of manoeuvres further back. The 2 Nissans of Fenestraz and Roland coming close together. Bird's got Gunther around the outside as they complete the opening lap. Verline up into 10th position already, so he's making his way through the field as they turn into the first corner once more. Already up 3 places. And Roland, the biggest loser on the start, down 4. So that's not too bad. Now, was that Ed Hunter joining in?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello, Ed. You all right?
Oh, only 1 lap miss. Sorry about that.
No
I
worries.
totally didn't just get up.
Nice to have you as well. You can keep your camera off, though, don't worry. I know you're not fully ready. We've all had the sleep bug.
I've thrown a shirt on. I could
right.
probably get it on, but
Well, if you want to do it, I'll adjust the cameras now.
anyway, there's a race going on, dear boy.
That is true. Can't this wait 57 laps?
Yep. So, and so far, still we got Van Dorn, Hughes, DaCosta, Norman Nato having a good day so far with that Ready team. But yeah, you're seeing the first 4. They're sort of single file, just coasting, saving the energy level. Almost looks like you got the top few. I think they're going to start maybe trying to pull away a little bit. So.
Yeah, Ed, you can put your camera on, by the way, if you want to. Oh, Tictum's dropped down to 20th. And now back up to 16th, yeah. So there was a little glitch in the software there, so it wasn't as bad as what we thought it would be coming into it. As they swing back through, anyone going for attack mode? Yep, Hughes, 2 minutes. NATO, 4, 2 minutes to Freeze and Cassidy. Bird, 4 minutes. Muller, Tictum, Jaruvula, 2 minutes. Mutar, Franz, Boemi. Same attack mode as what we had yesterday as well, by the way, so they've got to really sort of keep on top of that as they come into it. There we go.
Once again, about half the field took attack mode at around the same time compared to yesterday as well.
Oh, radio from Hughes. And it goes. Close the gap, I heard, but it's very muffled further back. So, yeah, close that gap down. Go on, Ed.
Interesting choice with Hughes obviously losing pole position at the start to Van Dorn. He decided to go for an early attack mode. Now he's up the inside of his NATO, is it, at the final chicane? I'm sure that's an easy move done there.
Right, across the line then, pulled around the outside. Look at DaCosta just standing still without attack mode. NATO goes through. Hughes is going to take through as well. So a nice little change around for them as they come into it. And there goes Van Dorn taking the attack mode. Is that going to allow NATO to slip through? It's an outside maneuver. Yes, it does. Comes out side by side. Hughes nearly gets a whack into the side for good measure. DaCosta, he uses attack, goes fast on the halo. Yeah, well, he's using attack mode, but he has not yet got an opportunity to do so. He's run out of it now as they come back through. Half the field on it as well.
I love the Will Buxton level Chinese proverbs on the Porsche Halo. I wonder if Verline's one will say, he who cuts the track gains the lead for yesterday.
That's... Stewart's didn't give him a penalty there, did they?
Is that Jake Dennis on the move? Pass one the outs. That's Muller, I think.
Yeah. Hughes up into the third, got through, and now we're getting Bird. He's under pressure as well. He's attacking. Verline's down to 11th place. So they're all just dealing with their attack modes first off. They've got 6 minutes to use. You can either use it in a 4 and 2, a 2 and 2, a 2 and... I don't know, 3 and 3, or... Yeah.
Profiles are different to yesterday, yes.
Why, man? I was so happy yesterday. Sakes.
Cassidy again now being told, just sort of maintain the energy pace and not fight with Evans and let Evans through on attack mode. So Jaguar look like they don't know how to manage the championship battle between these two. Cassidy's leading the title by just a few points at the moment. So yeah, it's getting a bit worse for my liking.
I mean, they've been very clear this time, at least, but it's certainly not a case of let them race. It's a case of, oh, well, whoever's ahead, let's try and get them as far up as possible, and you just stay right where you are, Sonny. Which is a very conservative approach from Jaguar. Let's see if it pays off in the end. But Normanado in the lead from Van Dorn at the moment. But I have a feeling the Porsches are probably going to be the main threat here for Jaguar. They've got Verline in 10th and DaCosta in 3rd at the moment, just in front of Hughes, who seems to have dropped back slightly.
And they fly back through again. I don't know, Joe, but this is like the beginning yesterday, but it all got exciting the last 10 laps, didn't it, when they started pushing. Now they're all just using the attack mode, saving the energy of the 6 minutes. You can use it's a 4 and 2, a 3 and 3, or a 2 and 4. That's how you can use the attack mode in this one. But no one's actually pushing for any up positions as Van Dorn defends from DaCosta, who's yet to take attack mode.
Nobody's really pushing. Again, sort of like yesterday, you're going to see this more of the single file. I'm really curious though, because I know when it came to Jaguar, I talked about it on the Saturday show that it seems like sometimes they're just mismanaging what the drivers are doing. Because, I mean, Cassidy has a 13-point lead. It could go down quickly. We know how unpredictable Formula E is, so it's really interesting to see Jaguar still having this bit of an issue.
This is Hughes cutting the track. Oh, and he get caught on the bump on the grass there, Ed, and just sort of nearly took his own front wing off.
Yeah, a bit of a hairy moment for as Hughes. Obviously, we're just seeing a replay of him using attack mode to pass NATO as well. With De Vries still up there in 5th, right behind Hughes, doing a good job in the Mahindra, as his team radio from Hughes.
Magic off, and we push.
Magic off and we push.
So they're using their magic paddle to go a bit faster, I guess, and use more energy during attack mode. But yeah, interestingly, did you see just before like replay, Cassidy went into attack mode and came out right ahead of Mitch Evans. So it feels like he pushed and ignored team instructions there. So maybe Nick Cassidy getting a bit frustrated with being told just to hang back and save energy when he knows he's so efficient and can save more energy later in the race. As NATO, I think, has gone to attack mode and come out behind Van Dorn there.
Yep, and Van Dorn retakes the lead of the race. And Gunther's passed Evans. Evans takes his 4 minutes of attack mode as well. So that's now the team sort of counteracting what's going on, as it's all concertinaed up at turn 6 with that's NATO being shoved to the outside line. DaCosta trying to take the lead of the race as well. Van Dorn lifting off, but NATO's got the attack charge. He can go forward and through at turn 7, so he'll get through there. Van Dorn is leading, now NATO leads. Van Dorn lifted off, so a little... The camera wasn't great there from that angle. We couldn't see that as NATO sort of slipped through on the inside line at 7. We need to be higher up with these to see them.
I mean, at least we get a few different angles to when F1 races here, which I think's already pretty good. But yeah, NATO, of course, doing well to take the lead. And now DaCosta muscles past Van Dorn as well. So Van Dorn's slowly losing a few positions here. And DaCosta is surely going to go into attack mode soon. As look at that, is that good for passing Cassidy as well?
And Hughes passes Van Dorn as well.
No, I think that's Evan, sorry.
Yeah, Hughes passing Van Dorn too. So Van Dorn's not gone for attack mode yet. I've not got a clue. Why is it? Driver tracker's not working. Just noticed that, as several drivers now do take the attack mode. Let's see if refreshing it helps as well. But that driver tracker on the Formula website that we use is not moved, but mine's moving around. There we go. Now the driver tracker's working. This is Dennis's radio. What's he done? Oh, on the grass, and he's destroyed one of our cameras.
It's not one of your cameras, Josh. Why you sound so concerned? It's
I know.
cameras.
They cost a fortune. And now we've lost the track
no
angle.
Skin off your bone, Joe.
I know, but we've lost our track angle now. That's our best angle on the circuit as well.
Oh well, I'm sure they'll find some workaround. Maybe we'll have to use some onboards for a change.
This is the angle I
yeah,
want.
there's the live championship, the live drivers championship being shown there. So that would be Cassidy on. Is that 152? Is it?
Yeah.
And it'd be Verline. Verline wouldn't be gaining on him because he's down in 12th at the moment and not about to score any points. So this would work out pretty solidly for Cassidy compared to yesterday. As DaCosta was going for the lead on NATO, so NATO backed off into turn 1, and it looks like De Vries did likewise as well, because I think Evans has got thrown in.
It looked like it was 163.
Go on, Joe.
I was just saying with the points, it was 163 to 142. Cassidy is over Wehrlein as of now. So
that's beneficial from being in 4th position and having that better duel as well today. Whereas yesterday he started in what, 12th position for Cassidy off the top of my head? Let me look at my notes in the commentary box. Cassidy started 10th yesterday as well, outside of the duels. Of the top 8.
Yeah. Do you remember when there was the race in Mexico Season 8 where Lotterer, basically Porsche had the best car that weekend, and Lotterer said that he lost because he didn't qualify ahead of Verline and won the duels? I feel like maybe there's a similar thing going on at Jaguar where it's like, well, whoever qualifies ahead gets priority, it seems. And in both instances this weekend, it's been Evans. And now Cassidy's broken with that in this race. I wonder if there could be some consequences down the line, maybe later on, where he's told to move over for Mitch Evans against his will again for the championship. As there we go, Da Costa and Nato going side by side down the straight again, interestingly, but Da Costa maintains the lead then. Now he's in attack mode, so this is interesting. I wonder, 10 laps in, are Porsche starting to try and use Da Costa to control things at the front, as Verline still down in 10th, struggling to make progress. As is that Van Dorn side by side with Cassidy.
Moves up into 4th, and Van Dorn's taking the attack mode as well as they come into it. If I make it till 4 a.m. Monday morning, by the way, which is the end of the Coca-Cola 600, somebody would please send a paramedic to my house, because I'm going to need it. If I'm struggling now, by the end of that, because what have we got left? For me, at least, I've got record the Indy 500 grid walkthrough, Snetterton Race 1, Monaco, Indy, NASCAR. It's a light scale. Oh, and yeah, MotoGP. Yeah. So, yeah, nightmare.
Wow. Just imagine how much better things would be and how much more you'd enjoy it if you got an actual good night's sleep, Josh, instead of staying up for 48 hours or whatever it's been so far.
It's not going well. I got 4 hours sleep last night, and then I went for an extra 2 earlier in between the gap between qualifying and the race, which I shouldn't have done, but yeah, I needed it.
Is that Jev having a go at De Vries, actually?
Yeah.
There's a message from the average time lost in attack mode is what, that was that 15 seconds or something like that?
15
As
seconds,
we see
yeah.
Da Costa go into attack mode again and lose the lead to Nato.
0.8 lost time in attack mode.
0.8.
It looked like a 15.
To stop it lagging so much, I've got it in a really tiny screen, so I've got Joe is much bigger on my end than what I'm looking at.
We need another laptop.
Look at that, Hughes going side by side.
Just realised JT's not doing anything. He could do the TV pictures, but he's got to go and do the TV pictures for Formula 2 with Jess and Naomi soon. So, yeah.
A, yes, I've got F2. B, I don't have TNT. I only have it on Discovery Team Radio.
Mitch is on the same energy. He's going to hold behind you.
Oh! Mitch is going to hold behind Cassidy for a change. Wow.
You see, you don't have to be a nice guy for the team to do what you want, it seems, at Jaguar.
So let's just bully everyone. That seems to be the way to go.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a life lesson, isn't it? Be as aggressive
like Van Dorn
and
is.
assertive, and you can always get what you want. Look at that, Van Dorn displaying that by passing Hughes as
Second place in the championship, Pascal Wehrlein has come down pit road and he is shaking his head. Now, is that wing damage or is that car trouble? Is Wehrlein out of the race, giving a huge advantage?
I think that's a penalty.
Nothing's come up on race control. If you know something, say it. It is. It's a stop-go. What's happening?
Point standings,
Yeah,
142, and unless he gets back in.
Puncture!
Bird gave me a puncture. Which tire? Rear left.
So, punch.
Bird gave him a rear left puncture.
That's why we couldn't see anything from the onboard, because it was the rear left that had been punctured there. So that's really bad luck for Wehrlein. It was like yesterday it was a Gunther that clattered into Hughes and a Mortara, wasn't it? And now today, the sort of only victim we've seen so far in this race has been poor Wehrlein being punctured by Sam Bird then while fighting for 10th. Look at that, as Robin Fry's starting to make progress. He's really been saving energy early on, and now he's going side by side with Bird for a 10th position.
I have to ask Ed, when now Pascal Wehrlein out of the pack, how hard is energy saving going to be, because there's nobody for him to draft and slipstream with?
Well, yeah, let's see what the gap is. He's come out 46 seconds, I think, behind the lead, and about 39 seconds behind Sede Kamara, who's at the back of the pack then. So not only is he a bit demotivated, but yeah, you're right, he hasn't got anyone to save energy off the back of. He saved a bit of energy going down pit lane, of course, compared to everyone else, because he sort of lifted and coasted while he went down there. There's Gunther and De Vries going side by side into the final chicane and getting very, very physical indeed, but Gunther holds the line and takes the position there. So De Vries, had to be so careful there not to get his front wing or just front wheel taken out there by that Maserati.
Where's the contact? Because there's Verline, there's Bird, so where's the contact come from?
I don't think it was. I think this is a good move from Gunther there.
Oh, and Hughes versus Van Dorn. That's going to get a little bit tight coming into the chicane if they're not careful as they all swing through 8 and 9 for the first time. Oh, there's a yellow flag at turn 12. That's where we've just gone through. Gunther, there it is. Someone's cutting across the track. Couldn't see who it was from that angle as De Vries slipstreams everyone. Tickter dropped back a couple of positions as well. Gunther trying to go around the outside of Jean-Eric Verne. De Vries hugging the inside line at 1 and 2. Usually you drift out wide in these situations, but everyone trying to slow down, save energy, which means you have a tighter line through. I think Tickter, has dropped back to the back with both Sete Kamara as well. So something happened at turn 12 that we haven't seen yet, but it brought briefly the yellow flags. How did they repair
There we go,
that?
Tictum going back past Sete camera, interestingly.
How did
So
they
the ERT's both at the back, saving energy.
How did they repair that camera?
They had us back up.
Oh, we've got 2. Oh, okay. Fair dues.
Yeah. They don't just have the one camera on track that's right next to the curbs, I guess. But maybe Jake Dennis is on a mission to take them all out today, but he's still down in 13th.
And
Let's look at
Verne.
that, Gia's front wing hanging off a little bit.
So Verne's hit someone as he goes round the outside. I wonder if Verne caused that contact as we see Van Dorn and Hughes clattering in together. Bird and Frines doing exactly the same thing. And there's Verne's winglet. Has been thrown off by the side of the track. Did he get ahead of Gunther and Evans? Something else flying off the track there from the back of Van Dorn. So we're having bodywork flying everywhere.
Is it me or is Van Dorn starting to hold up the pack a little bit? Because Da Costa and NATO just starting to have a little bit of a breakaway there, which is good for Norman NATO, I think. Because if the Porsche powertrains can just fight this one out to themselves and the Jaguars don't get involved, if they're struggling to pass Hughes and Van Dorn, then that could play very, very well for the 2 Porsche powertrains up front then. NATO trying to go for his second ever career win and his first of Andretti.
Round the outside, here comes Hughes trying to take second position on a skill, just slotting to third ahead of Van Dorn. And if I was Stoffel, just get back in and draft. There you go. Save energy. And he does so. Lifts off, coming through.
I wonder if Norman has saved enough at this point, because he could be very vulnerable to Da Costa being out front like that. He's just creating a massive hole in the air down the main straight, essentially.
Evans?
Let's go. Ask him to go. We're going.
Oh, no. Oh, there's Evans again.
Da Costa.
No, nothing.
Costa.
Nope, just double checking. Side by sides again. That was Roland and Buemi in 14th and 15th
I like how
place.
they almost said to Evans, why don't you ask Nick Cassidy to go? And it's not like he's got a direct radio channel to him as Da Costa snatches the lead into turn 1, but NATO looking very compliant there, so perhaps a bit of energy being saved there. Yeah, look, there's a
2% less.
bit of a deficit. Was that 1.3 that he's behind Da Costa in terms of energy saving?
46.9, 48.4 for Da Costa on energy, so it's 2% nearly. My God. NATO's really pushed that.
Yeah,
and driven like
like
crazy. And who's that into the pit lane? Dan Ticktum.
Another puncher, maybe.
Ticktum and Degrassi's under investigation for causing a collision, so I reckon Degrassi's hit Ticktum and sent him into the pit lane.
That's interesting. So on the previous lap, when NATO pulled over at the end to sort of let Da Costa slipstream past him, NATO actually set the fastest lap of the race, 1:15.3, which is bizarre.
I don't know what's been happening, but today the timing screens have been really slow and they keep freezing. And it's not just the website that you're looking at on the watch along either, because we have the Alcamel system as well up here, and even they glitch. Let's hear from Evans.
2 as we hear radio.
We're very close on energy to Nick. We're up on all cars around. The next car that's closer to us is Da Costa. That's 0.5% down from us. That's full go.
Couldn't really hear that well.
That might have actually just been NATO's best lap rather than his previous lap. Apologies.
He's just done a
I misread that.
1:15.358 as well. That could be his best.
Yeah, that's his best lap
Yeah.
though, not his previous lap. So if I can solve this one for you. Hold on.
One thing I will say about the Alchemil systems, they need
Last
to be
lap time
improved.
117.9. There we go. That's more like it.
They could be improved, these, like to show best and last lap and then gap in intervals. Without them to change.
So only Cassidy and Evans, P4 and P6 have more energy than you.
Yeah, they could show all the data without having to swap it, because I'm looking, on my time screen, there's room. It's not that bad. Yellow flag at turn 10, double yellow turn 10, and it's car 8, Sam Bird. He's slow, he's going again, but something's happened to Sam Bird further back in the pack. So, what's that? Yeah, look at the top. So, Sam's dropped right back to 20th. And DeFries.
Yeah, it looks like DeFries may have been involved as well.
Too.
Oh, no.
It looked like DeFries dropped a couple of positions, and then once he reached Bird then dropped way back. So I wonder if something happened to DeFries, and then Bird got.
Okay, happy to spend to move forward. Let's spend to move forward.
Wise business plan. As JT goes to cover
Interesting.
Formula 2. Go on.
Yeah, I was just saying, interesting. McLaren are going to try and spend more energy to make up ground and try and get into the lead, and then try and save energy from the front, which is probably not the easiest task. Or unless that plan is just to pick off NATO and then stay tucked in behind Acosta.
They are staying remarkably consistent. As round the outside, Cassidy tries to have a go on Hughes. Not going to work out coming through turn 8. Into the kink
That's
at
probably
9.
what McLaren are worried about, the energy being saved by that Jaguar. They know Cassidy's going to continue to move forward. He's already picked off Van Dorn, and here we go. Hughes going for a move on NATO then round the outside, which is going to be difficult. NATO will just extend the corner to block him off and feed him into Cassidy, essentially.
Go moment will be with 8 to go. It's lap 19 at the moment. Here comes Cassidy back on the inside of Hughes. Down to turn 1. So Hughes was vulnerable from that. Can he out-drag him around the outside? Cassidy is going to give him just enough room. They make contact. They're rubbing wheels as well. And there's a damaged wing now for Cassidy. Hughes clips him as Vern takes attack mode with 3 minutes.
I think Cassidy might have just gotten away with that one there. So it looked like there was a little bit of a touch, but only briefly. But luckily Hughes didn't get puncher as well. Although I hope I haven't spoken too soon. But now Hughes having another go at NATO. And look at that wing dragging. So Cassidy got away with it, but only just. And there we go. NATO's gone all the way around the outside of NATO then. Hughes now, sorry.
I was going to say, you've done it me. As Hughes comes back through on the inside line. No, NATO, and Hughes is taking everybody out today, Joe. This is unbelievable stuff.
I was going to say, now it's starting to pick up the aggression with 10 to go. I'm really curious to see with the front wing what's happening.
What's going on? All good.
DaCosta says pick it up, and he says, I see what's going on. I'm fine. Go on, Joe.
Yeah, that front wing on Nick Cassidy, after the contact, looks like it is dragging. If it could stay there, hey, that's great, but I'm just wondering how much longer it can do and how much of a handling issue will impact, because it is that right side that is dragging down a bit.
Right, I need to go and press record. I need to go press record on the MotoGP warm-up. So, Formula E, don't do anything for 30 seconds. Back to you.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like the right side of the front wing is dragging a little bit. Is that Bird going into the garage to retire, along with Degrassi, I think, as well, which is a big shame for Sam Bird then after the contact with De Vries and with Erline. There we go. So Hughes now has got himself up into second past NATO. He's now going to try and have a go at DaCosta here. So this is going to be an interesting gamble for McLaren. And I'm not entirely sure it's going to work out. But this is what happened to Sam Bird then.
What happened?
There we go.
Contact. Yeah, that's what cut Verline's rear left tyre there. Just into turn 2, Sam Bird went a little bit deep. And that forced Verline to pit for a new rear tyre there. You can see the man ready with the front wing, almost in anticipation, because he knows what championship he's in Formula E and how many front wings you need over a doubleheader race weekend.
It's raining outside. I nearly fell.
8 laps to go, so this could be where we start to see them starting to push on here.
Yeah.
I wonder if DaCosta having stayed out front for quite a few laps now might be a bit under threat here from Hughes. Might have to save energy for an extra lap, whereas some of those behind, like Cassidy, will start to push here.
Rule 1, don't hit your teammate. Vern and Van Dorn are very close to turn 3 and 4 as they push down to turn 6. Little kink at 5. Cassie's wing, as you say, is just dragging along that floor. And here comes on the inside. Vern on Van Dorn. And Van Dorn is not helping his teammate in any way, shape or form.
Well, yeah, but if you're Van Dorn, you've not had a great season so far. One podium in Monaco maybe is the only real highlight. And you're not about to do too many favours to John Vern when you really want a decent result yourself.
Okay, we are okay on temperature. Bit marginal.
After
To the point actually as well.
Do you want to start moving out of the toe? Question?
Affirmative.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, there was a chance of rain this morning when we started this EPrix. In third practice, that's what we're on about. And then when the sun opened up, and by the time we got to qualifying, they were predicting massive amounts of heat. Track temperature's 33 degrees, air temperature 35. It's getting there to be one of the hottest EPrix we've done. Of course, we had like a 39.9 in Santiago one year. But it's even though it's cloudy out there, the humidity and temperature's through the roof, so battery temp is an issue.
Yeah, and no wonder Hughes is asking, oh, should I pull out to the right out of the slipstream with Da Costa? And he was saying, oh, it's up to your interpretation.
It's good. It's on the edge, but it's good. So why don't we preempt?
Preempt? Interesting.
Was he saying energy was on the edge but good? Because I thought he was talking about his front wing for a second there.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, it's scraping. You won't feel it though, will he?
It's not quite scraping enough for it to be a problem though, so he might be okay. It's just that will have maybe dented his confidence a little bit, knowing that he hasn't quite got the same amount of front downforce to play with.
Oh, I hate it when I see that because if it goes underneath, it's going to be a massive accident. These curves take the whacking as a half as well. Cassie will be on 167, Verline 142, Evans 132, Roland 130, Dennis 114 going into the doubleheader at Portland in a few weeks' time. And Evans is... now, if I was Evans, I'd pass Cassidy. I would.
Well, you know, it's a similar situation on that Cassidy found himself in before, isn't it? But I think Cassidy's going to try and pick off NATO before that happens here, because Norman is not looking as strong as he did earlier. So maybe he did use up a little bit too much energy leading the race for the period that he did. And now the Jags could well inherit that fourth position at the end here. But yeah, keep your eyes on Hughes and Da Costa. I think that's really the main battle here. I think it's going to be difficult to see how Cassidy can really get involved, especially if that front wing gets any worse. So that might be why risking a move on NATO might not be the sensible move here. For the championship, it might be smarter just to stay where he is, and that is what happened to De Vries. He completely cut the corner there, or was forced off track maybe. Bird diving up the inside. Oh.
So that was what happened. Bird comes in sideways, hit De Vries, and then goes off the track, Joe. And that's why the yellow flag came out.
And was it Frines or Broemi who went completely off track to avoid both of them there? They both... it was a bit of a clumsy move by Sam there, I think it has to be said, and De Vries the main victim there.
Yeah, it looked like maybe it was Frines, but man, that's what I was thinking, because I remember seeing De Vries got down to Bird on the little driver chart, and then that's when you saw Bird just drop down the line, and that paints the picture.
I'll tell you what's really surprised me, Roland and Dennis, because they've not made the progress that I think I expected them to, just down in 10th and 11th. Neither of them qualified particularly high up, but and Dennis never seems to these days, apart from that one race in Berlin where he got pole out of nowhere by borrowing Porsche's setup. But yeah, it's interesting. I wondered they might be saving energy for these final stages, but they've not saved an incredible amount there. Maybe Roland has, but Dennis on 17%. And yeah, this could be a really interesting finish here. NATO, again, looking pretty vulnerable on energy.
Who is this virtual racing?
Two Jaguars have a good amount of energy. Both of them are now 18%, so they're probably might be in a good spot to do them make a move on the top leads.
Down we go. Now Da Costa still has the top dollar here. Who is on the radio?
How's the battery temp? I stopped using the energy paddle now.
Copy, 5 degrees clear, 5 degrees.
Perfect. So 5 degrees clear of the energy marker limit. So
Yeah, so interesting. Running up front hasn't been as big a disadvantage for DaCosta because it's allowed him to manage attempts a bit better, not being stuck in the dirty air of someone. That's why the pack is sort of spreading out as much as it is here at the moment.
Is it me, or have we actually got a normal race for the first time in a bazillion years?
Relatively, yeah. It looks like Tictum is nearly about to be lapped here, given the pace of these guys. So the ERT not having a good day.
Verline trundling around for no points, just getting some, I presume, data.
Well, of course, he has got that free position now that Tictum's had to pit. But yeah, he's about 15.9 seconds off Degrassi, who's at the back of the pack, essentially. Oh no, Degrassi's about 35 seconds off the pack himself. So yeah, it is a bit of a exercise in futility, unfortunately, for Verline. He's really focusing on Portland at this point.
Still added lap, so we're not going to have an overtime finish in this race.
Fantastic. Didn't want
We
that.
didn't get any yesterday, did we?
First time in 5
Correct,
races.
yeah.
You watch, by the time we get to Portland, the safety cars that we have there is unbelievable. I suppose as well, actually, I might be mistaken, I've just realised, with what I said at the top of the show, that this is the first permanent layout we come to in Formula E history. Joe, you'll know this better. Portland is the same as IndyCar, isn't it? They have not changed a thing for Formula E in Portland.
Yeah, Portland's the same. The minor thing they do is they make the Shelton chicane entrance much more of a 90-degree corner rather than the traditional where a car could almost just hop the curves and carry more speed. I'm curious if they're going to do that again next year.
Okay, so...
Yeah, it depends if you count the Grand Prix circuit at Monaco as a permanent layout or not, because it just seems to be semi-permanent. Although, of course, it's used as a road course for most of the year, yeah.
That is a good point. It's a street circuit. This is the first permanent facility we come to that hasn't had any changes. Okay, considering that Shelton chicane, I'm going to say that that counts as a change because they've changed the modification layout of it. So I'm going to say that this is the first one we've come to where they've changed absolutely nothing.
Was this the contact that hurt Cassidy's front wing, or is this a second contact? I think that might be the first one because Van Dorn's still in between the Jags at that point.
Hughes then.
This almost looks like the second. The way Cassidy's car, it sort of reminds me, it looks like the front end got tight, NASCAR term, where it was to get in that understeer, got into the Hughes car, and then they both traveled up. So I'm wondering if that's from the front wing issue.
I think that was definitely the first contact that put the front wing out of whack in the first place. Because, yeah, he was fighting with Hughes and not Nato, who is in between them at the moment because Hughes passed Nato. Yeah.
But you're right, because he did get the understeer on it. He did get the understeer. You could see
I don't think we're going to see any moves until the final lap, maybe, at this rate. And even then, I think Hughes is a little bit too far back to challenge DaCosta for the lead here. I think DaCosta's done too good a job on battery temp management here to be in any danger.
If there was ever any doubt on whether or not DaCosta should keep his drive at Porsche, this is going to be his third on-track win of the season, in a season which has only had single winners. He is one of 2 repeat winners. He is very, very good, and I think they should give him another year. He's coming to his own now. Second win of the season.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not been that consistent this season, so he's a very, very outside shot for the title. If he sort of starts a winning streak, he might be able to get his way in there mathematically, and especially with the Jags outside of the podium places, that could work well for him today. But yeah, so take nothing away from him today, but unfortunately the sort of vein of the season as a whole has sort of been him generally playing second fiddle to Verline at Porsche. But yeah, when he gets these opportunities up front and he doesn't have to worry about particularly when it's just a plain energy saving race and there's plenty of space and he's not under too much threat from behind, he can manage things brilliantly, and he qualified well. So take nothing away from DaCosta, what he's done a really, really solid job today. And I think Hughes is going to fall just short here.
He's coming up a little bit, can't do it. A normal Formula E race. We thought it was dead and buried. We've had a normal race, and the winner is Antonio Felix da Costa for the second time this year. He'll get to keep the race win. An absolute brilliant performance out there at the front. Porsche do absolutely brilliantly with their energy management once more. Hughes finishes second. Nato is third, ahead of Cassidy as well. But da Costa is the winner in Shanghai.
You won, baby.
Not bad at all. What a race. And I think, Joe, as well, that's pretty much signed him for next year, I reckon, after that one, because he's won more races in the past 2 months than Verline has.
I'm saying I think he's still got it. The one thing I think about with da Costa, I think pack racing is not exactly his big thing. More so the traditional races. This race today played a lot more like a traditional race where the field spread out and came to management, but you didn't have the big slipstream pack, especially with the heating over issues for the battery. I think this played out to da Costa's favor, and let's see if we can continue this march.
Billy's got him.
Bill.
Billy's got him on the radio.
My man. It feels awesome, man. It's awesome. We had a tricky day yesterday and got taken away the points at the end. So yeah, really happy to bring another win home. Tough start to the season, and that's like 3 wins in the last 6 or 7 races or something. So yeah, really happy with that. Thank you to my team. Yeah, awesome.
You're certainly the man in form. Congratulations on a great drive.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you, guys. Bora, malta, vamos! É nossa, tá em Portugal. Vamos embora.
Antonio Felix da Costa there.
Oh, fantastic racing. We've got the results coming
And
through.
is that first ever podiums for Hughes and Nato then?
Yeah.
Because I don't think Hughes has been on the podium for McLaren before. And I don't think Nato's done it for, well, first podium for Nato for Andretti, of course, of the season. So certainly Norman needed that after, remember he was doing well yesterday and sort of didn't quite get the points in the end that he wanted. And more ready from...
Man, that's 3 wins in 6 races or something like this. Talk about a comeback.
I mean, yeah. Oh, Susie Perry's on.
I like it. I like it every time he says that. It's like, oh, it's like 5 wins in 7 races. Oh, it's like 10 wins in 11 races. He just like exaggerates the stats every time he tries and remembers it to make himself look even more superior than he actually is.
Technically, it's only 2 because he got the first one disqualified. He did win on the road in Misano, but he got disqualified.
Yeah, I think he'll probably count that as a win, even if Roland gets to keep points. We haven't heard about the appeal yet, but it doesn't. It's pretty unlikely they're going to throw out the rule book, even if it is a bit draconian. But yeah, you said a normal race. I don't want to say the word boring, but I think most of the action was really in those first couple of laps. It's a shame I missed the first lap, but anyway.
Nothing really happened on the first lap either, to be fair. They were all pretty calm.
Apart from Van Dorn taking the lead, but that didn't last too long for him, sadly.
Yeah.
I feel that's sort of the dilemma you get with you have so much pack racing. You almost become, okay, this is what we expect all the time. Last year in Portland, I thought, okay, you're going to have one race where you see the pack racing, but other where there's more flat out racing, some more energy saving. That variety, I think, makes a big draw. I thought this race was overall engaging. I enjoy it. I just know it wasn't the visual spectacle of the big pack going around like we're going to have in a couple weeks. One thing also I want to point out, Kobe got da Costa for pick a winner, so he's up to 18 points now.
Fantastic stuff. Oh, my word. I am losing track about pick a winner. Kobe always gets it in the second half of the season as well. That's the thing. He always starts slow and then bang. Once we get regular running, he's up there.
He's tied with Josh T for 3rd place right now.
Oh, God, don't tell Josh T that. He's on the commentary right now at Formula E. Formula 2. In fact, it's Jess, Omi, and Josh T. So I guess who was supposed to be in the commentary box for that one? Richie probably isn't awake at this point. Or he hasn't put his camera on. I don't know. But they've just completed lap 1 over there, by the way, in Formula 2. As we'll take a break ourselves and hand over to the world feed as we await the podium ceremony here. And a brilliant race result then has fulfilled for Antonio Felix da Costa. couple of drivers still under investigation, so we'll wait for the penalties to come through, but we'll hand back to Tom Brooks.
The DAC Attack is back then once again, taking his second victory in as many weekends in Formula E. Let's catch up with the man himself.
Antonio Felix da Costa, you cannot keep a good man down. You've done it again. Your back's against the wall and you come out firing.
I love it. I love to come back swinging after some tough times. Or, yeah, yesterday sucked really how we lost those points at the end. But yeah, super happy to be able to perform like this today. The car was in such a good window. But yeah, there's a lot of management going on out there. You know, with the energy first and then with the temperatures after that, it's super hot today. And yeah, super happy with this. Great to have an Andretti car here on the Porsche powertrain as well on the podium. It shows that, you know, we're still the brand to beat. But yeah, super happy.
What happens to you mentally when disaster happens? How do you reset and go again?
There's a lot of things. Obviously, I think having the right people around you is #1 priority. And man, when the times get tough, the tough get going, you know. So that's really how I look at it. Everybody goes through tough times, and you know, luckily for me, my tough times are when a racing car is not performing well or whatever. So you need to put everything in perspective, and I'm still such a lucky guy to call this my job. But yeah, today will be about celebrating on the flight at midnight back home. But yeah, good to have a couple of weeks off now before Portland, and yeah, let's hope that we can keep this going until the end now.
Antonio, hugely deserved. Well, congratulations.
Transatlantic celebration.
I like that instead of any questions about the race, it's like, oh, when disaster strikes, how do you get through tough times? So they're trying to force their narrative that Da Costa's having a terrible season when actually he's had some really good performances this year. It's really just the disqualification at Misano that I think has led to that narrative sort of from the beginning of the season carrying on.
He's improving week in, week out, that's for sure.
The pace, set the rhythm, had enough energy left in his pocket, and drove absolutely superlatively. Jake Hughes as well with his first ever podium in Formula E. His previous best was 4th in Diriyah earlier on this season. And finally, after the man who's qualified on pole position a few times now in his Formula E career, manages to break his duck and get onto the rostrum.
It was great to see him convert that stunning qualifying performance earlier today into a podium. I'm very happy for him. You know, it's been a long time coming. He's finally figured out how to make it count in the race in the afternoons. Hopefully, you know, he won't forget that.
Yep, 30 years old he turns on Thursday. What a birthday present. Let's catch up then with the man himself.
Jake Hughes, your first ever Formula E podium. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm over the moon, mate, honestly. Feels like it's been a long time coming. Back in the first race in Mexico last season, I felt like, well, I finished 4th on the road. I felt like we could have got it that day. So after whatever many races it's been, 25 or so, it's about time. It's about time.
Talking about times, on Thursday, it's your 30th birthday. What a celebration this will be.
Thanks for telling the whole world, mate. No, it's going to be a good day. Well, hopefully tonight it's going to be an even better day. So the team all deserve it. They've last 3 months have been hard on everyone. Not scoring the points. It's been a very busy schedule, and I'm so happy they get to have some success finally.
Brilliant for the team, brilliant for you, brilliant for the West Midlands. Congratulations.
Represent, mate.
The boy from Birmingham has done it then. Huge from Hughes here in Shanghai. Started on pole position and was challenged by Van Dorn and Da Costa down to the first corner. Kept himself out of trouble though, didn't he? A couple of hairy moments going through the final sector. A little bit of dust being kicked up on a couple of occasions, but for the most part, a really clean, controlled race.
Yeah, he definitely had his elbows out at times, I think it's fair to say, but he obviously wanted to keep himself right in the hunt, right for that front pack. And when he made up those places and he followed Antonio Felix da Costa home, as we see, Felix da Costa gave it a little bit of sideways action out of the last corner. He was obviously wanting to celebrate that victory whilst he was on track as well.
So from Team Radio here.
Mate, after yesterday, that just shows the calibre of driver you are. Well done. Congratulations.
Good to hear that. That's
Ian James on the radio.
I think I just understood this racing today. That's not job, everyone. Honestly, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy, but I'm so much more happy for you guys. Honestly, the last 3 months have been hard. Well done, you all deserve that so much.
Lovely sentiment from Jake Hughes talking to the team there. Let's catch up with the man who finishes 3rd on the podium, Norman Nato, his first visit to the rostrum since Rome last year.
Norman, a tough race, challenging conditions, your first podium of the season. How was it for you?
Feels good. Much better than last night. Well, I felt like, yeah, so far this season, every time we try to do something, you know, which looks correct to us, something like a small issue happened, you know. And as I said, like, I said, guys, let's not give up because we have the pace. Every qualifying, like, we managed to have the package like working, like we managed to go to the duels and be in front. But honestly, like so far, like it's been a long time where I didn't have like a season where nothing will wanted to come together, and it's not even pace-wise, honestly. And today, for some reason, we kind of didn't change anything. We just again like tried and didn't give up, and it worked. So it's really good. Like honestly, like it feels good after all the hard work. New team for me, also like fighting for the team championship. It's really good points.
Talking about your season, 14th in the standings coming into this, did you expect this? Did you think it was possible? Because it surprised many of us.
Well, no, every race weekend is possible. It's Formula E. Every season I did in Formula E, I did at least like a podium or a win. So, you know, like I already proved what I'm able to do. And again, today, it was a really smart race as well from Antonio and Jake. We kind of work all together, which made our life also quite easier compared to when you are in the park and it's not really under control. It's not really your race. When today we had the pace, honestly, I didn't even try to fight Antonio at any point because he was just like doing a really smart race. And on my side, like as I said, like step by step, like I will make it. But it was really important, you know, like to recreate like a good dynamic, a good spirit with everyone. And now we are arriving at the end of the season, so points are really important if we want to fight for top 3. It's starting from today, where Jake so far did really well, scoring points in some races where we didn't look the best. So yeah, I'm really pleased for today. It's my turn to score the points for the team. Unfortunately, Jake didn't manage to enter the top 10 because of a difficult qualifying, but I mean, it's all the hard work of the team paid off on my side today.
Enjoy the celebrations, well done.
Yeah, we'll do, thank you.
Norman Nato then with his first visit to the rostrum with Andretti, only his third career podium, believe it or not, as well. And he's second in the Gen 3 era. You can see him here dueling with Jake Hughes for position. Led for a good portion of that race, Billy. Didn't quite have what it took to challenge Da Costa and Hughes for those top 2 podium places, but nonetheless, as he said, doing a great job getting points for the team.
Yeah, a really strong drive from Norman Nato there. Absolutely delivered when it mattered. Got some points on the board, and yeah, a strong drive.
Good job, Norman. Good job. P3.
Finally! Finally!
Yeah.
But took time, huh?
Well, there we go. That was some team radio from Norman Nato on the slowdown lap. Let's get confirmation then of the results, shall we? For round 12 here in Shanghai, it is Antonio Felix da Costa who claims his second victory of the season from Jake Hughes and Norman Nato. Mitch Evans and Nick Cassidy, 5th and 4th there respectively for the Jaguar TCS Racing Team, ahead of the 2DS Penske's of Van Dorn and Byrne. Maximilian Günther, points on the board after a difficult day at the office yesterday, and Robin Price also getting some points from Envision from 20th on the grid. Completing the top 10 was Oliver Rowland. Jake Dennis, difficult day at the office, missing out on points ahead of Buemi, Mortara, Fenestraz, Muller. Nick de Vries qualified, of course, inside the top 4. He'll be left wondering what might have been but for that contact with Sam Bird. Bird, of course, ending up out of the race, but the big hitter in the top 20 is Pascal Wehrlein. No points on offer here this afternoon for him. Drivers' Championship, Nick Cassidy then, 167 points for him. That is a healthy margin going into the next round of the championship in Portland. Pascal Wehrlein then sitting in second place. Mitch Evans now closes up to within 10 points of the Porsche driver. Oliver Rowland just 1 point on the board for him, and Jake Dennis also now starting almost to lose a little bit of touch. Further down the order, Norman Nato with some good points on the board promotes himself now ahead of Sam Bird in the Drivers' Championship as well. Robin Price closes up onto the back of his teammate Sebastian Buemi also. And you can see further down the order there as well for some of the drivers who need to try and get some more points on the board in the latter 4 races of 2024. Well then, the fans got treated to an absolute showstopper here in Shanghai, Billy.
Yeah, it was a great race. Slightly different to what we had yesterday, with that extra or that one less lap today meant that we had faster paced action. I'd say the cars were operating probably about a second a lap quicker on average throughout the entire duration of the race, which made for some exciting overtakes. Still some side-by-side battles in that last sector. No real controversy though.
Yeah, you can see here Da Costa and Nato debriefing as they head towards the podium area, just coming through the weighbridge, so they have to be weighed with all their kit just to make sure they're all complying with the regulations, of course. And then it's time for the podium celebrations to begin. See, Jake Hughes has made a head start as well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he's cleared off into the distance. He doesn't share the same powertrain that Norman Nato and Antonio Felix da Costa do. Maybe he's not included in that conversation.
Well, what an absolutely fantastic weekend we've had on our return to China in Formula E, our first visit here since 2019. Of course, the country where Formula E began back in the 2014 season.
And now the podium ceremony then. That took a little bit of time to get to, didn't it? I was wondering where it was. It's been about 5-10 minutes since we've been keeping an eye on things. Didn't have to go up one flight of stairs.
A while yesterday as well, Joe.
Yeah, for some unknown reason. They've only just got to go. Formula 1 managed to do this in less time.
Maybe it's because the Formula E have a longer route to the podium in Shanghai.
I swear I saw them going out the back of the garage as well.
Or because usually the podiums are at ground level for Formula E, and
Yeah.
this one's a bit high up, so it takes a while to get everything sorted.
I think the longest that we've
high
gone,
up, away from the crowd.
Where's it in Portland, Joe? Because last year it was like inside of turn 3, somewhere around there. I know you were there.
The podium in Portland, it was actually on the outside of the circus and not in the infield.
Oh, wow.
So it was, if you were on the main straightaway, you could just walk over. You'll be there in like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how far. It was more challenging if you were in the Shelton chicane, the infield, because you have to go through the paddock, over the bridge, which is the bridge we see mainly in Portland, over the final corner, and then get there. So it's not the same great turnout there, but I feel like you look at this one, the crowd is so far away compared to traditional podiums in Formula E, where they have everybody right there and all the fans.
Yeah, it's a shame they won't let them out on track as well. It's just the team members at the front there. Unless they are on track and the cameras just haven't picked them up, but you would think they would use those crowd shots, sort of like they would in London or whatever. Yeah, it's just photographers and the team members. Yeah, that's a shame. But I guess maybe that's just the way they do things in China. It's not the most liberal society, to put it mildly.
I did see your comment though on Facebook, Ed, about Formula E saying that.
They had the footage of Hong Kong, and they were saying, "Look at the last time we were in China." It's like, wasn't there a big a whole protest from the people who lived in Hong Kong about whether they, what was it, one country, two laws or something?
Yeah, and also didn't we race in Sanya like a year later? So, which is it?
That's true. Sanya is not technically mainland China.
No, it's outskirts.
If that was what they're meaning. Yeah, it's obviously still part of the same country. It's not the same issue. Anyway, podium ceremony. Let's get the.
There you go. The Portuguese national anthem. I love that podium that Ed holds up as well, with the Lego one that he creates as well, with all the flags and the drivers on there. It's fantastic. Now the German national anthem. Alexa was tripping me up there. The German national anthem.
Why is Florian Mudling holding a panda?
I don't know.
Is it a Porsche panda? I remember that replay of just a second ago. Wow, what a lovely moment.
So nice, we get it a second time as well, the same image. The pandas have been dotted all the way around the paddock here in Shanghai. One even invaded the commentary box, and Tom Brooks put a headset on it as well. The pandas have just been put all around the paddock. I don't know why, but that's what we've seen them with. Coming as well.
They're taking over.
Porsche win again in 2024's 10th season of ABB Formula E. Multiple wins with Verline and now Da Costa. They're closing up as well. Cassidy will leave here still with the championship lead, but it's all to play for. 4 races left at 2 different venues, of course. We go racing in Portland for a double header, and then we go racing in London, possibly for the last time at the Excel Centre.
There's been some rumours on that, I think, that it might be penultimate because they're struggling to find a replacement venue and they don't want to lose it completely.
That's fine by me. I like that venue. It's a good little track all around the Excel Centre.
Well, it's a very popular venue as well.
Yeah.
It's a shame to see it go completely and just go to Silverstone. I think that would be a bad look for me personally.
I agree. I've had enough of purpose-built circuits. Even though Portland was the best one we had last year, that kicked off everything and they did it right. Joe, you're going there, doubleheader in Portland as always. NASCAR, you're there soon actually, aren't you, for the Xfinity Series with Ben. So, a busy couple of weeks as the champagne flies here in Shanghai. Big bottle gets hit down for Da Costa. So then, Joe, going into Portland, what are you expecting to see after this weekend in Shanghai?
Well, so Nick Cassidy has a 25-point lead. So that means as long as he scores points, it's going to be hard for him to leave race 1 without the points lead. Unless he doesn't score points, the winner gets the pole, fastest lap. That's going to be, I think, really a good benefit for Nick Cassidy in Portland because with the pack racing, a little less pressure. He went there, won last year. He has to be feeling pretty good. I'm curious to see how Jake Dennis is going to do because last year he did pretty good there. Starting up towards the front, I think he has a good possibility of racing there. But the one thing I'm curious about, and we saw a little bit of this today with the Porsche powertrains, how they both sort of pulled away a little bit from Stoffel Van Dorn and the rest of the pack. If you could have, whether it's the Jaguars and the Envision with the same powertrain, or again, 4 Porsche powertrain vehicles up towards the front, they start to pull away a little bit and maybe break up that pack. It's going to be really interesting to see how everyone adjusts after last year in Portland. And of course, now you throw in there a second race that weekend. Because it's going to be really interesting to see how qualifying and everything turns out at Portland.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, I think, Ed, the championship might now go down to London. I can't see how it can be won in Portland. So we are in for a showdown in London again.
Yeah, I love how you said that, oh, Joe, you're going to Portland soon. Like, he doesn't live right next door, basically.
He's literally right there. I mean, yeah, he's right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it would be lovely to see the championship go down to the wire again. And I certainly think mathematically, I would be very, very surprised if Cassidy pulls 50 points ahead of Verline and everyone else by the end of the 2 races in Portland. You've got to remember this was the point in the season where we thought Cassidy was going to start to run away with it as well. But once we got to those final few races, and then we had the doubleheader in Rome, where he finished on the podium behind Evans in one of them, in the other one, Evans crashed into him. And then in London, Buemi's teammate crashed into him, and now Evans is his teammate. So we've had a little bit of tension here and there, although it's not directed at Evans specifically, more at the team strategy that he strongly disagreed with and then worked against, and then they just worked with what he wanted to do, essentially. So like we said, it really shows that not that you've got to bully people, but sometimes you do have to be. I think there is a point that you do have to be assertive if you want to win a Formula E championship, and Cassidy is certainly doing that to try and balloon that points lead out to 25 points. So we'll have to see what happens, whether the likes of Roland, Dennis, Evans, and Verline, I think those are probably going to be the main ones if they can get a challenge together, because otherwise I think Cassidy has probably got this in the bag.
Always looks like go on, Joe.
I was going to say, just looking at, we got 4 races at 29 points max each. I think they're going reduced down to where potentially you have 9 drivers still eligible in the championship. Can you correct my math? If you don't have more than 51 points, which means from Van Dorn up, top 9, I think are the only ones left with the championship.
Wouldn't it be, if it's, let's say, it'd be 100 points plus the fastest lap and pole position points, wouldn't it?
So
anyone who's got
29
less than...
times 4.
Yeah, 29 times 4.
25.
So that would be 30 times 4 would be, let's say 30 times 4 and then minus 4. So that would be 120. So, 116. You need to have at least 116 points to be in this title race then. Or be within 116 points of the leader.
Within 116, yeah.
So that's...
How many's to cost?
That's quite a lot of the field again,
Oh, no,
isn't
not
it?
cost.
167.
Yeah,
is Nick Cassidy. So
so anyone with less than about 100, less than 51 points is out of it mathematically.
Wow. So we went from 18 entering this race to all of a sudden, according to the Formula E site, South Van Dorn has 53, so we're down to 9. We just cut the field by more.
Well, I think they might not have added all the points from the race we just saw yet.
Could have.
We'll see.
Hopefully they should have by now. But wow, if we cut it down to 9 in one race, Portland's going to be insane.
In one race.
They have added, so you're right, Joe.
Right.
That's why I was thinking, like, it's looking like, if Cassidy could get a win in Portland, he's really going to, he's already 25 points ahead. He could easily
win last year.
But he could put one hand on the championship if he was to win the first race at Portland, I think.
Oh, it's going to be
Not
absolutely
2 hands.
insane. No, not 2 hands just yet. Just the one. I can't wait. 2 weeks' time? We're in Portland, or is it 3 weeks' time? It's one of the
3 weeks time. Next weekend will be NASCAR in Portland. So we got Shane Van Gisbergen, Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle is going to be racing in Portland. So that's going to be a really interesting one. Isabel Robusto, she's making her ARCA debut. Big weekend of NASCAR. Then you got 2 weekends where they're then getting ready for Formula E, June 29th and 30th. And then it's August now, IndyCar. So it's a much more condensed time period here for Portland International Raceway.
I nearly had a bit of a panic because I thought 3 weeks' time, Le Mans. I was like, I'm not doing that. that would be insane. But no, it is the end of June as well, and we all get busy now. So Formula 2 is going on right now on the channel with Jess, Omi, and Josh T. I'm now on a break. I'm going to do the Grid Network Indy 500 grid walk, and then we're back at 11:15 for Twin Cars Race 1 as well, so in about 2 hours time. And thanks to Joe, and thanks to Ed as well, and thanks to all of you at home. So 4 races left then, and 9 still in the title hunt. What will happen? Join us in a month's time when we go racing for a double header in Portland. Bye bye.